Okay, now let us talk about division Bryophyta. As you know that plant kingdom or plantae kingdom, it has been divided into 5 divisions: algae, Bryophyta, Pteridophyta, Gymnosperm and Angiosperm, right? Algae we have done. So now let us talk about Bryophyta. Division Bryophyta. These are thallus-like. Now what do you mean by the term thallus-like? In division algae you have done, they are also thallus-like. Their body is thalloid. It means there is no differentiation between roots, stem and leaves. If I talk about the algae, their body is thalloid. There is no differentiation between roots, leaves, stem. Like if I talk about the higher plants, in the gymnosperms, in the angiosperms, you can clearly see and you can clearly tell this is the root, this is the shoot, this is the leaves, right? But here in the thalloid body there is no differentiation. If I talk about Bryophyta, no doubt they are a little bit more differentiated than the algae, but still their body is thallus-like. They are having root-like structure. They are not having root. Understand the difference. They are having root-like structure, leaf-like structure. So that's why we have used the term thallus-like. Is it fine? Algae, they are also thalloid. Bryophytes, they are also thalloid. But in them, there is no differentiation between the root, stem and leaf. But in bryophyte, a little bit more differentiation can be observed. In the bryophytes, no doubt the body is thallus-like. But still we can see root-like structure, that is rhizoid. Not the true roots, but yes, root-like structure is there, leaf-like structure is there. Is it fine? So first point about bryophytes is that their body is thallus-like. They are having leaf-like structure. They are having root-like structure. Okay. And this is rhizoid. Their root-like structure is known as rhizoid. I'll explain this with a diagram also. This is the first point, that their body is thallus-like. Now second point about the bryophytes. They are known as the amphibians of plant kingdom. Now what do you mean by the term amphibians? You have learned that frog is an amphibian. If I talk about the animal, frog is an amphibian. This you have learned. Basically amphibians, they need water as well as land. They can survive at both the places. This you know. Actually what happens in case of Bryophyta, firstly let me tell you their location. Bryophyta, they are common near the damp areas, humid areas, where the amount of water is there. They can't grow on the dry soil or on the normal soil even. They can grow on such type of soil where the amount of the water is more. So they used to grow in the damp areas, humid areas, shady areas, because obviously there will be less sunlight. So the amount of the water content will be more. Shady areas. Now listen, how are they known as amphibians of the plant kingdom? Wherever they are present. If they are present in the damp soil, in the humid soil, wherever they are living, they need water for the process of fertilization. Suppose here the male is there, okay, female is there. Male will produce the gamete that is antherozooid. Female will produce the female gamete that is egg. Now, this antherozoid, it will reach to the female by the means of water. Am I clear? Suppose here is the male body, here is the female body. The male body will produce the antherozoid, but the antherozoid will move to the female body by means of water. So they need water for the process of fertilization. They need water for the process of sexual reproduction. If there won't be water, they won't be able to do the process of sexual reproduction, as the female gamete can't receive the male gamete. Male gamete can only be transferred to the female gamete via water. So they need water to complete their life. If water will not be there, they can't complete their life. Is it fine? No doubt they are living on the soil, damp soil, they are living on the soil. But still they need water for the process of fertilization. And without water, their life is incomplete. That's why they have been given the term amphibians of the plant kingdom. Although living on the damp soil, humid areas, but still they need water for the process of sexual reproduction. That is why they are confined. Why they are confined? Because they can live only near those areas where they can have the water. Clear? So this is the second point. First point was bryophytes, their body is thallus-like. Second point, they are known as the amphibians of the plant kingdom, as they need water for the process of fertilization and they live on the damp soil or the humid areas. Now, if I talk about the importance of bryophytes, although not that important, but still a few bryophytes are there. They are important. Like its example is sphagnum. It is very important. Sphagnum is a bryophyte. Okay, this bryophyte gives us peat. Peat you might have heard in your chemistry lecture. Peat is used as a fuel. Okay, peat is a type of coal that is used as a fuel. So this is one importance of bryophyte. Sphagnum is a bryophyte that gives us peat, and we use the peat for the process as a fuel. Second importance is that this peat, it can also be used for the shipping purpose. Okay, this sphagnum, sorry, not peat. Peat is used as a fuel. This sphagnum bryophyte, it can be used as a packaging material. Suppose I want to pack this thing. So if I'll cover it with the help of the sphagnum, okay, and if there will be rain, any kind of problem, then the inside material, it will be safe. Okay, so this sphagnum can also be used for the shipping purpose, for the packaging of the materials. Clear? The inside material will remain in its proper position, in its proper, you can say, function and everything, shape. Clear? So this is the first importance of the bryophyte. Sphagnum is a bryophyte that gives us peat, that is used as a fuel. Plus this sphagnum can also be used as a packaging material. We can package the things with the help of this. Now, second importance of bryophyte that is also very important, succession of bare rocks. Now what do you mean by this? All of you know that from the rocks, it results in the formation of soil, right? Suppose here I am having a huge rock. Obviously after millions of years, the rock will break down into the soil. But the first step, it is being taken by the bryophytes plus lichen. Lichen, you know, association between the algae this is the rock, bare rock, then a few bryophytes, not all obviously, they have the capability to live here, plus lichen. Now they will live on the bare rock and they will start decomposing this rock. It will start breaking the rocks into pieces. Means they work as an agent, as a biological agent for the process of soil formation. Clear? So they help in the succession of bare rocks. The formation of soil from the bare rocks. They act as a biological agent. Clear? Wind will also help, water will also help in the same process. Like in the similar way, they are also helping. Now, if I talk about the bryophytes, the body of the bryophyte, the main body of the bryophyte is a gametophyte. Now, what do you mean by the term gametophyte? It means their body is haploid. Now, what is the meaning of haploid? It means they are having n number of chromosomes. If an organism has 2n number of chromosomes, then it is said to be diploid. But if I talk about the bryophytes, then their body is having n number of chromosomes, so their body is haploid, or I can say the main body of the bryophyte, it is a gametophyte. Is it fine? Their body is having n number of chromosomes, so that's why we can use the term haploid or gametophyte. Now, the gametophyte, it will produce the gametes. Now just think, there will be male, there will be female. They could be present on the same plant or not actually plant. I can use the word thallus, as their body is thallus-like. So suppose here I am having the male cells and here I am having the female cells. Is it fine? Now, on the male, there will be formation of antheridium. On the body of the male, there will be formation of antheridium, and on the body of the female, there will be formation of archegonium. Now this antheridium will form male gamete, that is antherozoid. Antherozoid. These all are N. Gametophyte was having N chromosomes. Antherozoid is having N chromosome. And same here, archegonium, it will result in the formation of egg. It is again having N number of chromosomes. So this is what is happening. Their main plant body is a gametophyte having N number of chromosomes. Now there is male and female. The male plant will bear the antheridium. You can understand it like that. In humans, we are having male, female. In the male, testes are present. Like in the similar way, in the male, they are having antheridium. Antheridium will form antherozoid. Compare it with human. In human, the male is having testes. Testes will form sperm. So that's what is happening. Actually, the names are different. And in the female, there is present archegonium. Archegonium will form the egg. Now what will happen? In sexual reproduction, there is fusion of gametes. This antherozoid will travel to the egg. That what I told you. This antherozoid is mobile. It is motile, sorry. It can move. It will move to the egg. By the means of water, they will fuse and it results in the formation of zygote. Zygote N. It means the zygote will be 2N. Now this zygote can't develop directly into the parent. Why? Because it is having 2N chromosome. Parent is having N chromosome. It means from the 2N, N must be produced. And just think, there should be meiosis or mitosis. Mitosis is equational division. The number of chromosomes remains same. And meiosis is reductional division. The number of chromosomes reduces to half. So here you can see it is reducing to half. So in the zygote, what will happen? Meiosis, but not directly. What will happen? Just see with the help of a diagram. Let me draw the parent first. Let me give you the example of Funaria. Funaria is a mouse actually. Main body is there. Okay. Then there are rhizoids. I told you they are having root-like structure. That is rhizoids. This is main axis. That is rhizoid. Root-like structure. Then there are leaf-like structure. Clear? Leaf-like structure. Now, suppose this is the female body. Male and female, they could be present on the same thallus or on the different thallus. Suppose this is the female. I'm just drawing. In the female, I told you, archegonium would be produced. And archegonium is flask shaped. Let me draw here. Suppose here, archegonium is there. This is our archegonium. In the archegonium, egg will be produced. Suppose egg has been produced. Now, antherozoid from the male will come by means of water. It will fertilize the egg and now it results in the formation of zygote. Till here I told you, right? Now let me erase all this. Now I am having zygote. Now I am not having all these things. There is just zygote. Clear? Having 2n set of chromosomes. But this main plant body is having n set of chromosomes, that it is a gametophyte. This we have discussed right now. So this has to undergo meiosis. But before that, what will happen? This zygote will keep on dividing. Zygote is a single cell, it will keep on dividing. Means from one cell there will be formation of so many cells. And it results in the formation of a multicellular body. The zygote was having single cell, but this zygote will keep on dividing and it results in the formation of a multicellular body. And this multicellular body is having 3 parts. Okay. Capsule, setae and foot. This is having 2n, means sporophyte. So you can see on the body of the gametophyte a sporophyte has been developed. Is it fine? The gametophyte, suppose female, it was having archegonium. The antherozoid from the male partner came. There is fertilization. It results in the formation of zygote. Now zygote keeps on dividing. And as a result, it results in the formation of a multicellular sporophyte. The main plant body is gametophyte. And on the gametophyte, there is formation of a multicellular sporophyte. No doubt this sporophyte is dependent on the gametophyte. It will take its nourishment, food from the gametophyte only, as gametophyte is the main parent. The gametophyte can do the process of photosynthesis. This sporophyte will take the nutrition from the gametophyte. Is that fine? Now, this capsule. Inside the capsule, spores will be formed. That's why it has been given the term sporophyte, as it is gonna make spores. So inside the capsule, spores will be made by the process of meiosis. I told you sporophyte is 2n. Now this 2n has to make n. That is the main parent body basically. So by the process of meiosis, sporophyte is there. Inside the sporophyte, cells are there. In those cells there will be meiosis, and the meiosis results in the formation of haploid spores. And then the haploid spores, they will form the gametophyte once again. these all will be lost now. The capsule is there only for the formation of spore. It will form the spore by the process of meiosis, and those spores they will again form the gametophyte. Is it fine? Now, if I talk about the types or the categories of the bryophytes, then they are divided into two categories, moss and liverwort. Let us talk about the liverwort first. Okay, in the liverwort, let me give you the example of Marchantia. As I told you, they will be present near the damp areas, humid areas, the wooden areas that are damp. Clear? If I talk about the reproduction, that is the basically main topic of this discussion, they can reproduce by three different ways. By vegetative method, okay, or they can also reproduce by the sexual method. If I talk about the vegetative method, then how can they reproduce? Either by fragmentation, that their thallus will divide into fragment and the fragment will form the new organism, new thallus. So in the vegetative, they can grow by fragmentation. Okay. Second, they can reproduce by the help of the gamma cup, and the gamma cup they come in the second process, that is asexual. Okay, let me repeat it once again. In the liverwort, I am taking the example of Marchantia. Marchantia can divide by three different ways: vegetative method, asexual method, and sexual method. The vegetative method includes the fragmentation, in which the plant body will divide into the fragment, and each fragment can give rise to the new thallus. That's it. In the asexual reproduction, as you know, in asexual only one sex will be involved. There is no involvement of the male and the female. So what will happen? The asexual reproduction takes place with the help of the gamma cup. Now how? Let us talk. Suppose here I am drawing the body of Marchantia. So here I am having the Marchantia. On the body of the Marchantia, asexual reproductive bodies will develop gamete. Suppose here is the gamete. After that, it results in the formation of the gamma cup. These are the asexual bodies. They will develop on the body of the Marchantia. They will develop themselves on the thallus of the Marchantia. After that, what will happen? These gamma cups, they will detach from the parent. The parent is there, the gamma cups, they will detach, and wherever they will fall, they result in the formation of the new Marchantia. That's it. Clear? So this is asexual reproduction by the help of the gamma cup. And in sexual reproduction, a basic I have given you now only. The male will be there, female will be there. They could be present on the same thallus or on the different. Okay, the male is having the antheridium, which will form the antharozoid, and the female is having archegonium, which is having the egg. The antharozoid will move with the help of the water, and they will reach to the archegonium. In the egg of the archegonium, there will be fusion, there will be formation of zygote. This all we have discussed. The zygote, it results in the formation of a sporophyte that is present on the gametophyte only. The sporophyte is having three parts. Clear? This all we have done. Now if I talk about the moss. In moss, a little bit more advancement can be seen as compared to the liverwort. Okay, their sporophyte is more developed than theirs. Clear? So now basically what is there in the moss? Protonema. Actually they are having two stages. Protonema stage and leafy stage. They are having two stages. Protonema stage and leafy stage. Now what do you mean by these? Just understand. In protonema, firstly their body is like this, filamentous. vertical I can say, or it could run horizontally on the ground like this. So this is protonema. Now from the protonema what will happen? There results secondary protonema, and from the secondary protonema there result the leafy stage. On the protonema, now just see what will happen. The root-like structure will arise, and these root-like structures they are known as rhizoid. Then there will be formation of branch-like structure. So now the protonema has been changed into secondary protonema stage. Now after that what will happen? The next stage will come, that is leafy stage. As the name suggests, the branch it will develop into the axis, and on the axis we can see the leaf-like structure. So here becomes the leafy stage. Is it fine? If I talk about the reproduction, that in the vegetative method they can reproduce by the fragmentation, and in the sexual that I told you, on the body of this, on the leaf-like structure, if this is the body of the funaria, example is funaria, if this is female thallus, archegonium is there, antherozoid will come, fertilization will there, zygote will develop, then the zygote will result in the continuous development. There will be formation of a sporophyte having capsule, seta. Okay, now the capsule will bear the spore by the process of the meiosis. Now the spore will again form the gametophyte. So this is all about the bryophytes. Am I clear?